everyone. In my today's video, I'll be discussing questions from the chapter How do Organisms Reproduce. And in my last 4 videos, I have already talked or dealt with the chapter in detail. So today we'll be discussing the questions, and the questions will be more or less 1 mark or very short answer type questions. And lastly, I will be discussing some MCQs or the multiple choice questions also. So let's start with the questions. The first question, what is the mode of reproduction in amoeba and planaria? The mode of reproduction followed in amoeba is binary fission. We have already studied, and that in planaria is regeneration. The next is what is named the largest cell present in the human body. So the largest cell present in the human body is called the ovum or the ova or the female gamete or the egg. What is the splitting of a cell into 2 daughter cells in any plane known as? It is known as fission. The binary fission also is known as the division or splitting of a daughter cell in any known plane. What causes Kala-Azar and how do the causal organisms reproduce? Kala-Azar is caused by the organism Leishmania, and they reproduce by fission, that is a mode of asexual reproduction. What method of asexual reproduction is followed by unicellular organisms? Unicellular organisms follow the mode of reproduction, that is fission, or also binary fission and multiple fission. Binary fission we can see in multiple fission we can see in Plasmodium. Give 2 examples of organisms that undergo regeneration. So the organisms that undergo regeneration is planaria and hydra. We can tell planaria and hydra, they undergo regeneration. If you remember what was regeneration, that is the development, the total organism gets divided into different parts, and from each of the part a new organism or the offspring is produced. The total new organism arises. This was regeneration. It is seen in hydra also as well as in planaria. What is the process of spore formation called? The process of spore formation is known as or is called as porogenesis. Which organism develop thread-like structures, and what are these structures called? So the organisms which develop the thread-like structures are called the rhizopus. They are also known as the bread mold, and they are structures that are produced, the thread-like structures that they produce, they are called the hyphae. Write an examples of any 5 modes of asexual reproduction. So the 5 modes or the 5 types of asexual reproduction which we have studied, that is binary fission, multiple fission, regeneration, bud formation, then spore formation, and binary fission we can talk about even, and budding, spore formation and budding, and also fragmentation. Yeah, that is fragmentation also. So we can tell along with that particular mode or particular mode of asexual reproduction, we should also be giving one example of it. Like for binary fission we can tell it is amoeba. For multiple fission we can tell it is Plasmodium. For budding we can tell it is hydra. For spore formation we can tell it is rhizopus. For regeneration we can tell it is planaria or Spirogyra, and for fragmentation it is Spirogyra. For regeneration it is planaria. So what is the asexual reproduction? Mentioned in different forms. What is asexual reproduction? The reproduction which takes place without the help of 2 parents, or it takes place only by one parent without the formation of any male or female gametes, is known as asexual reproduction. It is the mode of reproduction which takes place involving only one parent and without the formation of the sex cells or the germ cells. And mention its 2 different forms. So the 2 different forms of asexual reproduction can be a fission, fragmentation, or it can be a regeneration, spore formation, any of them. Name the organisms. Name an organism which reproduces by spore formation. List 3 conditions favorable for spores to germinate and grow. So the organism which reproduces by spore formation is Rhizopus, and the conditions favorable for the spores to germinate and grow, that is, it should be cool, dark and a moist place, because the fungus, because I have told you that Rhizopus is already a fungus, it is a bread mold, so for them to grow, always cool, moist and shady places are required, which helps for them to grow. So it is the produces by spore formation, and favorable are cool, moist and dark place. So last two advantages of vegetative reproduction practiced in case of an orange plant. So the two types of vegetative reproduction, what the advantages of vegetative reproduction, that is, we get the exact replica from the parent to that of the offspring. In any type of vegetative reproduction, when we follow, we get the exact replica, that is a fruit shape, size, taste, everything is maintained exactly. And second is, it takes a very short time for the plants to develop or for the plants to grow, because if you go for sexual reproduction, it takes a long time, as the seed has to, first we have to put the seed has to germinate, then it starts growing, it has to overcome many unfavorable conditions during that time. But vegetative reproduction, immediately the plant gets ready. So this is one of the advantages of vegetative reproduction over that of the sexual reproduction. So the two advantages of the one is oranges are similar in size and shape, and many times oranges do not produce viable seeds. So vegetative propagation, this is also another advantage, because many times so happen the plants which we go for vegetative reproduction, they don't produce viable seeds, or they don't have proper seeds for the growth of the next generation. So vegetative reproduction is a very good alternative for those kind of plants. List two advantages of vegetative propagation. The same last answer what we had discussed, the same thing you can write. It is the plant which is created, or the plant which is grown from the parent, is from that single parent, is the exact replica of the parent, and it takes a very short time. In a small time, a new generation can be formed in compared to that of sexual reproduction. And you can mention another point, that if that particular plant or particular fruit is not producing any viable seeds or does not have any seeds, so this is a good mode of reproduction for the plants. Select the plants raised by this method. So in this we can vegetative propagation, it is rose that is raised and banana that is raised. So let's see the answer. Plant generated banana and rose are raised by the vegetative method. This method is used for growing rose plants. So rose plants is generally used or generally made or grown by the method of cutting. The type of method used for growing jasmine plant. Jasmine plant is used by the process of layering. DNA copying is not perfectly accurate. What effect does it have? DNA copying, or what we know as DNA transfer or DNA replication, when we mean, is exactly not accurate. If it is accurate, there won't be any variation. What effect does it have? So the effect of imperfect DNA copying results in variation. You can write it in one sentence. So the result of, or the effect of imperfect DNA copying results in variation among organisms. Define the term unisexual and bisexual. Give an example of each. So unisexual and bisexual, we have studied them during when we were studying sexual reproduction in higher plants, that is angiosperms. Unisexual means it is a unisexual flower. Unisexual flower means the flower either contains the stamens or the carpel, that is, it either has the androecium or has the gynoecium. It does not have both of them in one single flower. Example we can tell of, or we can call of, that is papaya, watermelon. And what are bisexual? Bisexual flowers or bisexual flowers are those flowers which consist of both of the male and the female reproductive system within the flower, that is the androecium and the gynoecium, or the stamens or the carpels, both are present in the flower. Example we can put it as hibiscus mustard. So this Next is state the two basic events in reproduction. So in reproduction, when we are talking about, that is sexual reproduction, the two basic events that take place, that is the DNA transfer, that is the DNA gets copied from the parent to that of the offspring, and also the cellular organisms, the other cellular organisms. This DNA helps in the production or helps in the formation of the other cellular organisms or cellular apparatus. What is reproduction and what are your two types? Which one of the two and how? Which one of the two and how? What is reproduction? What are the two? Which one of the two and how? So what is reproduction? Reproduction is the process by which the parents give rise to the young ones, and it is through the development, or it is further bring about a new generation. So, and what are the two types? The two types of reproduction are asexual reproduction and sexual mode of reproduction. If you are talking about, it's of two types, asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. How does sexual reproduction confers new characteristics to the offsprings? The sexual reproduction, in sexual reproduction, the conferring of the new characteristics is done through the DNA copy or the DNA transfer, or basically the DNA replication. That is when in sexual reproduction, the male and the fusion of the male and the female gametes, and this male and the female gamete both contains DNA. The male gamete contains the DNA from the male which is coming, and the female gamete or the egg contains the DNA from the female. So this both fuse together and forms the zygote. So the offspring contains the DNA or the genetic material from both the parents, that is the male as well as the female. So how does it confers new characteristics? Because it confers as there is a DNA copy, because there is a DNA transfer happening from the parents to that of the offsprings, which helps them to transfer or confer new characteristics. See, sexual mode of reproduction confers new characteristics due to variation in DNA copying or DNA transfer. It gets transferred, but it is not exactly transferred. So there is variation, and this brings about new characteristics. Name the largest cell present in the human body. The largest cell present in the human body is the ovum. Why is DNA transfer an essential part of reproduction? These questions are very much similar. They just put it in different forms. So why is DNA transfer an essential part? Because DNA transfer is an essential part of reproduction, as it is the only way to bring about variation, and which is very important in the process of evolution. DNA transfer is an essential part of the process of reproduction because DNA transfer provides cellular apparatus in the daughter cell. Copies will retain the maximum of the traits, and this is important for the process of evolution. Define puberty and list two changes observed in girls at the time of puberty. So what is puberty? Puberty is defined at an age at which the male and the female, or the girl and the boy, start producing the sex hormones, and also they have beginning to get changes within their body due to the production of the sex hormone, and they are also sexually mature enough to undergo the process of reproduction. It is an age, so we have to tell 2-3 things we have to mention in the definition when we are talking of puberty. First thing, it is at an age at which either a male or a female start producing the sex hormones. They are ready for undergoing the process of reproduction, and they undergo many changes within their body, and this particular age is known as puberty. So puberty is defined as the age at which sex hormones begins to be produced and the boy or girl becomes sexually mature. List 2 changes observed in the girls. So 2 changes that you can talk of, that is the development of the breast or the initiation of breast formation and starting or initiation of menstrual cycle, that is the menarche. Name the organ which produces the male and the female sex hormone and what are the names of these hormones. So the organs which produce and what do they produce. So the organ which produces the male sex hormone is called the testis and produces the hormone testosterone, whereas the female sex hormone is produced by ovaries, and the hormones which are produced are known as progesterone and estrogen. So let's see the answer. The male sex hormone is produced by testis, is also known as testosterone. The female sex hormone is produced by ovary and is called progesterone and estrogen. Name the two types of germ cells present in the human beings. How do they structurally differ from each other? Give two differences. So what are the two germ cells, or name the two germ cells? The two germ cells present are sperm and the egg, or the sperm and the ova, or the sperm and the ovum. Anything you can write present in the human beings. How do structurally differ from each other? And give two differences. They are structurally different from each other. So one first important point, that is that sperm consists or contains either the X or a Y chromosome. They don't contain both of them. They contain either a X chromosome or a Y chromosome, whereas the ova or the egg will always contain an X chromosome. It will always contain an X chromosome. That is the first difference. And give two differences. And the second difference, that is the sperm is more or less somewhat long in structure. It is little long in structure. It has a head and a particular tail. The tail helps to swim, whereas the ovum or the egg is round in structure, because they have asked you for two differences, structural two differences that they have asked you. The parts of human male reproductive system which contribute fluid to the semen. State the advantages that semen occurs to the sperm. So the parts of the human reproductive system that offers or contribute fluids, that is the prostate gland and the seminal vesicle, which actually produces some mucus secretions which add up to the sperm into the vas deferens and produces the semen. This semen, what is the advantages? So what are the advantages of the semen? The semen helps in the mobility of the sperms, and they also provides nutrition to the sperms. These are the two advantages. It transportation to the sperms and easier provides nutrition to the sperms. How do growing embryo get nutrition from the mother's blood? So growing embryo gets the nutrition from the mother's blood from a flat disc-shaped structure called the placenta, and it has network of blood capillaries towards the mother's side, and this provides the embryo or the growing embryo with food and oxygen. So let's see, the embryo gets nutrition from the mother's blood with the help of special tissue called placenta. This is a flat dish-shaped structure, embryo side and villi on the mother's side, which is embedded in the uterine wall and transfers glucose and oxygen from the mother to that of the embryo. A definition of parthenogenesis. So parthenogenesis is the process of fertilization in a female gamete. In this, there is no involvement of the male gamete or the sperm. A female gamete gives rise or fertilizes itself. So this happens, and without the fertilization of a sperm. So this is the definition of parthenogenesis. So these are the one mark or very short answer types. Do some multiple choice questions. During favorable conditions, amoeba reproduces by multiple fission, binary fission, budding, fragmentation. So the correct answer is binary fission, because amoeba reproduces by the process of binary fission. A feature of reproduction that is common to amoeba, yeast and Spirogyra is that they all reproduce asexually, they are all unicellular, they all reproduce only sexually, and they are all multicellular. See, yeast, amoeba and Spirogyra, they all reproduce asexually. This is correct, because they all reproduce, they all follow the mode of asexual reproduction. They are all unicellular. They are not, all of them are not unicellular, because Spirogyra is, they are all not unicellular. Amoeba is only the one which is unicellular. They all reproduce only sexually. Neither of them reproduce sexually. They are all multicellular. They are not multicellular because amoeba is unicellular. So we can go with the first option, that is answer A, that is they reproduce asexually. So answer A. The next, the vegetative propagation refers to the formation of new plants from stem, flowers, fruits, stem, leaves, flowers, stem, roots and flowers, stem, roots and leaves. If we see the first option, stem, flowers and fruits. If it is vegetative reproduction, what does the word vegetative mean? Vegetative means that it is not a sexual part, it is a vegetative part. But when we have read the chapter, we have understood that flower is a reproductive part. It is not a vegetative part because flowers contain the reproductive parts, that is the male reproductive part or a female reproductive part or both of them. So first answer cannot be possible because it is through vegetative reproduction, so flowers cannot come. Stem, leaves and flowers, this option also is incorrect because it also contains flowers. Stem, roots and flowers, even this also contains flowers. The last, that is stem, roots and leaves, this is the correct. The ability of a cell to divide into several cells during reproduction in Plasmodium is budding. Budding does not produce several cells. It produces a miniature type of the plant type, and after growing a little bit, it detaches itself from the mother plant. Multiple fission should be the correct answer. Binary fission produces only 2 daughter cells. Exact replica, but it produces only 2. And reduction division. Reduction division is known as meiosis. So meiosis doesn't take place in Plasmodium because this follows asexual mode of reproduction. So we have to go with multiple fission. Answer is B. The next is Bryophyllum can be propagated vegetatively. We know it is by the leaf. Spirogyra reproduces by budding. It is no. Fragmentation, yes. Regeneration, no. Fission, no. So it should be B, that is fragmentation. In potato, vegetative propagation takes place by root, leaf, stem, tuber or grafting. It takes place by stem, tuber. Vegetatively propagated plants do not bear roots, do not bear buds, are genetically similar, are genetically dissimilar. So if they are plants, they have to bear roots. Otherwise, it is not possible for a plant to grow. And they do not bear buds. They have to flower, they will flower or they will bear buds. They are genetically similar. Because it is asexual mode of reproduction, I told that in this mode of reproduction, it's the exact replica of the parent that the offspring becomes. So they are exactly genetically similar. That is the third option. The flower of the hibiscus plant is bisexual, unisexual, neutral or very small. It is having both androecium and the gynoecium, that is the stamens, the carpels, and so it is a bisexual flower. It is a very good example of bisexual flower, hibiscus. And another example which you can remember or which we can think of, that is mustard. In Rhizopus, tubular thread-like structures bearing sporangia at their tips are called filaments, hyphae, rhizoids and roots. So that is hyphae, the thread-like structures. The parts of the flower which is present in the center of the flower is the sepals, petals, carpels and stamen. If you remember the structure of a complete flower or a bisexual flower, outside is the small sepals followed by the big petals which are colorful and showy. Then comes the stamens, which consist of the pollen, which consist of the anthers, and finally the carpels, which consist of the style, stigma and the ovary, which is a tube-like structure, and down there is a swollen structure. So carpel is present or it is positioned exactly at the middle of the flower. Plants like banana, rose, jasmine, orange have lost the capacity to produce seeds, buds, flower, roots. They are plants, so they have to produce fruits, they produce flowers also, buds also. So basically they don't produce seeds because they are all generated by the asexual mode of reproduction. The seed that contains the future plant is called the cotyledons, no. Seed coat, no. Germ cells, no. It is the embryo. So embryo or D is the correct answer. The process of release of eggs from the ovary is known as Menstruation formation, this is called ovulation. Insemination, no. Reproduction, no. Menstruation, no. We'll go with the option D. The period of pregnancy is called gestation period, incubation period, ovulation, or menstruation period. It has to be gestation period, or we'll go with the option A. I'm sorry, it came option D. It should be gestation period. It's not menstruation period. It is gestation period. I'm sorry. In human beings, the fertilization occurs. In human beings, the process of fertilization occurs in the uterus, ovaries, fallopian tubes, or vagina. Fertilization occurs in the fallopian tubes. So fertilization is a process that takes place in the fallopian tubes. So it's the answer C. The period during adolescence when the reproductive tissue begins to mature is called ovulation, puberty, germination, propagation. So the correct is option B, that is puberty. Along the path of the vas deferens, the secretions which gland provide nutrition to the sperms is seminal vesicles, because urethra, scrotum, urinary bladder, they do not produce any secretions to the vas deferens. It is the seminal vesicles which produce, and later on this only form the semen. Answer is B. Which among the following diseases is not sexually transmitted? Syphilis is sexually transmitted, is a bacterial disease. HIV/AIDS is also sexually transmitted. It causes by a virus, that is HIV. And gonorrhea is also a bacterial STD or sexually transmitted disease. Only hepatitis is not a sexually transmitted disease. So it should be option B. The embryo in humans get nutrition from the mother's blood with the help of a special tissue called the placenta. In human males, the testes lie in the scrotum because it helps in the process of mating, formation of sperms, easy transfer of gametes, or secretion of estrogen. So it should be the formation of sperms. We'll go with the answer B. Which of the following method of contraception protects from occurring sexually transmitted diseases or STDs? It is surgery, it is no. Condoms, it is yes. Copper T, no. And oral pills, no. It does not help you from STDs or sexually transmitted diseases. It is only through condoms. That is, we'll go with the option B. So this brings us to the end of the multiple choice and very short answer type questions. I hope we have all cleared idea about the chapter, how do organisms reproduce. If you have any doubt or any queries regarding this chapter, you can easily ask me in the comment section. I'll surely come back to you. And if you have liked my video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.